The state of Oklahoma is adopting a hotspot action plan to address a recent surge in COVID-19 infections in our state's prison system. According to the Department of Corrections, about 900 inmates are currently infected, and that doesn't include the number of employees who have caught the virus. In fact, in a few facilities, almost the entire prison population has been impacted. ONR Steve Shaw has our statewide report as the DOC addresses the problem and angry protesters.
We are not perfect.
Oklahoma Department of Corrections Director Scott Crow says he takes this COVID onslaught very personally.
There are a lot of rumors and speculation of things that are happening within the prisons, but I can tell you that I absolutely am in tune with everything that we're doing on a daily basis to make sure that those core services are provided.
I am extremely pissed as a mother. That is my child, and I will fight for her until the last breath of my body. And y'all need to understand that.
Pamela Brown's daughter, Michaela, is 21. She's 2 years into a 3-year stretch at Eddie Warrior Correctional Facility in Taft. That's the same place where earlier this month, more than 700 inmates tested positive for COVID-19. 2 died. Brown says her daughter also tested positive.
If it takes shutting the prison down to get it thoroughly clean, if it takes shutting it down, get them to another place, whatever it takes, take care of the problem.
So far, 9 inmates out of the state's 25,000 population have died. The DOC says all 9 had comorbidities, which means they were vulnerable to the COVID anyway. 3 COVID-positive DOC staff members also have passed away. 22 inmates statewide are currently hospitalized.
We're telling you, take care of those women. They deserve better treatment than that.
Malinda Haliburton is an inmate advocate based in Muskogee. At this rally last Friday at the state capitol, she was convinced the DOC isn't doing enough.
They're doing their time, and they don't mind doing their time, but they don't have to die. Most of those women I talked to was not sentenced to death. COVID-19 can kill you, and if they don't get in a better situation, death is going to be on your hands, Governor Stitt.
Civil rights attorney Rand Eddy said he's working on a civil rights lawsuit.
And right now, it's hard to imagine what's going on and how these folks feel. They're trapped, they're scared, they're sick, and they're afraid they're going to die.
DOC Director Crow invites critics to look closer.
A positive case makes me sick, but an inmate death even makes me sicker. And so one of the things that I've really worked to do is try to place an emphasis on everything that we could possibly do in working with the CDC or the state health department to mitigate this risk.
Crow this week named 8 Oklahoma prisons as hot zones, where hundreds of inmates have tested positive. Earlier this month, more than 700 inmates at Eddie Warrior Correctional Facility in Taft tested positive. All but around 58 have recovered.
Hotspot designation actually triggers an additional response from the department.
Crow says a newly formed rapid response team has flooded those facilities with support, with security resources, medical services, and food. Prison lockdowns related to COVID-19 outbreaks, he says, has made inmate telephone privileges tricky at times. It's a reality he doesn't like, but DOC's doing the best they can under the circumstances.
And now our inmates continue to have 1 5-minute call per week to their families. And so they all, even if they're on the lockdown status, those phones are actually on those housing units, and they're still able to make at least that 1 5-minute call per week.
Crow just accepted the state health department's recommendation for mandatory staff testing of all 3,300 DOC employees each month. Governor Stitt says those workers deserve more than just a thanks.
Social distancing for our DOC workers isn't always practical. That's why DOC will be increasing pay for those employees who are dealing with the virus in hot spots across our state.
Earlier this week, Oklahoma American Civil Liberties Union spokesperson Nicole McAfee was critical about the lack of mandatory staff testing.
Do you take the time to go get a COVID test yourself? Can you afford to be out of work for an extended period of days if you are found positive? I think that The other big piece of this puzzle is jails. That at least within ODOC, there is some response plan across all facilities.
We managed to, for almost 120 days, operate 77 county jails with 0 positive cases of COVID until the Comanche County facility popped up.
State Sheriff's Association Executive Director Ray McNair says there is a uniform policy.
We try our best to do a 14-day quarantine in all the county jails on any new inmates that come into the system. So we're doing everything the best we can to maintain the health and safety of not only the inmates but also our employees.
Steve Shaw, the Oklahoma News Report.
Steve, thank you. McNair added that right now all 77 county jails have plenty of PPE supplies.